Hello guys, this is your friend and we are back with a new fanfic. Which is what if fallen Naruto changed his life and got into harem with Anko, Kurenai, and Tsume Part 2. And if you enjoy this fanfic then please press the like button and subscribe to my channel for more fanfic like this. And now let's start the fanfic. Naruto shows them where the Hokage office is and when they get inside, they see a large man with 8 swords which Naruto was wondering how could he use that many at one time. Next to him is a man in the Reika's clothes and hat as he's talking to the old man. On the other side of the two is a younger person which must be their other teammate. You three took forever to get here, the youngest man of the group said to them as Naruto just looks at them. We stopped to get something to eat and asked Naruto to show us the way here. That's when he looks at Naruto which he was wondering who the hell he is. Sorry I don't go that way. Once Naruto says that to him for staring at him everyone in the room laughs as he just gets pissed off. Naruto, let me show you who these people are, the one you just pissed off is our teammate Omoi. The big man with the swords is our sensei Kurabi and don't say anything about his last name. Naruto just closes his mouth because Kara looks at him evilly which he knows better not to say anything about his last name. Thank you for showing them the way here. The Reikas said as Naruto looks at the two of them. It was my pleasure to help these 3 beautiful women. The women in the room just blush as they look at him which he just smirks to them. The Hokage and Reikas just smirk as well which the Hokage realizes something. I'll be going and I hope to see you 3 again and soon. Naruto walks out of the Hokage office as he thinks about Tsume and the Kumo shinobi women. Sometimes he wonders how come he meets so many great women. With the Hokage after Naruto left the room. He really is an odd one at that. Reikas said to the old man which he just nods his head. Both the group of people inside the office heard someone walk in as the old man looks at the person. It was Kushina. She's the wife of the 4th Hokage which was the thing that he realizes. He had forgotten that she was coming back to the village with her 2 daughters. Kushina-chan, it has been a while but I have some bad news. The reason your husband killed the clan was a lie by Danzo. Also Naruto now knows the truth of what happened and the seals no longer hide it. Kushina was now shocked but she also had a feeling this was going to happen. She never thought the clan was going to try to kill him but she couldn't say anything to help them. So now that young boy has to live with a burden that we are to blame for. How has the Kyuubi took over his mind yet? The old man just shakes his head because the Kyuubi would never hurt Naruto. After all, Kyuubi was the one that named Naruto and is in a way his godmother. She would never hurt Naruto and that is because she named him but also in a weird way she is his godmother. So there is nothing to worry about with Naruto and Kyuubi but Naruto may never forgive this foolish village. That's good then, which it means at least the burden he has to live with isn't making it harder for him. I just hope he can forgive this village as well. I know that Minato never wanted to kill the clan or seal away Kyuubi inside of that boy. Kushina wishes that she can have her husband back and this sad event never had happened. You don't need to worry about him, to me he seems like a strong person who will go far in this world. Hokage and Kushina look at Tsume as she said that to them. No one would have guessed that Tsume would be the one to say that about someone. Does someone have a crush on the little blonde hair boy? Yugito starts to tease Tsume which she just looks at her. Back with Naruto who's walking back to his mate's home. When Naruto finally gets to the Inuzuka clan house he wonders if she's home or out somewhere. He knows he has to wait about 10 hours to find out what she's going to do for him tonight but he wants to spend time with his new mate. As he gets closer to the place he notices someone walking in. He starts to follow after him to the clan house door which the man then turns around. Who are you, brat? Why are you walking to this place anyway? The man asked Naruto who just looked at him. The man just looks at Naruto which he didn't want someone like him around his place but Naruto was now walking closer to him. I should be the one asking you that. The man just looks at him but Naruto can tell his eyes are spit like a dog. That can only be one thing, he must be Tsume old mate. If this was her old mate, then he going to love killing him and ripping his head off. How can he come back to this place after all the years he left for? He has no right to even walk into this village, let alone to this place. I'm the clan head of this clan, and how dare you talk to me like that? Naruto just laughs at him, which causes the man to be pissed off. Then Naruto gets a pissed off look on his face, which the man wonders why this brat is looking at him like that. But when the door opens and Tsume sees who it is, she was also pissed off. Then she looks at Naruto and sees that he is also pissed. What are you doing here, Lucian? You are no longer my mate or the clan head. You shouldn't even be allowed back into this village for what you done. That when Naruto moves in front of the man, which he notices the mark on Naruto's neck. This causes Lucian to grow mad because she had moved on and with someone that was younger than her. He had never thought of her as someone to date someone that much younger. But what really pisses him off the most is that she had the guts to even think about moving on. How come someone move on when they had been with him, and how in the world is this kid better than him? It's see, you have moved on, but I'm here to see my kids. That's something I'm still allowed to do. Even the clan's laws say I can still visit my kids, and no matter what their mother has to say about it. She caused inside her mind because he was allowed to do that. That when the three of them walked in and headed to the living room. She had called for her kids, and when they got to the living room, Hannah was pissed at what she sees in front of him. Hannah knows what happened, and she has always hated her too. She never wanted to see that asshole again in her life, no matter what. Why are you here? You left for no reason, and now you think you can come back. He looks at his daughter, which he just looks at her. Is she out of her mind? How could she yell at her too like that? She was his daughter, and she not right to act that way to him. Naruto looks at him as well and smiles because he was glad that Hannah disliked him as well. Someone like him shouldn't be liked but hated for what he had done. To leave his family because he was getting bored was something only an asshole would do. This was kind of person that he hated down to his bones, because someone like this can't be called a two. You're my two. Why did you left, and don't give me a bullshit reason? That was it. Lucian couldn't handle this anymore. He was there too, and this how they acted to him, but was this how Tsume raised them? Did she raise them to talk back to their two and Ka? Or was it just to him that she told them to act? You have no right to talk to me, your two, like that. I though this clan had raised you better than that. I guess Tsume didn't raise you up the right way then. Naruto looks at him with a deadly glare, which no one has the right to yell at them like that. Not some asshole of a two that leaves them because he was bored. You have no right to talk to them like you. You were the one that left your family because how you put it. You were bored and this was boring. You are nothing but an asshole that has no right to tell others how to talk to you. The man looks at him, which he couldn't believe that this was Tsume's new mate. Someone his age has no real power and can't talk to him like he was above him. He was starting to want to hurt this so-called brat if he didn't keep his mouth shut. Kiba was shocked that his first two left because he was bored. How come someone do that to their own family? How come he be his two? This was pissing Kiba off to no end. To have someone that was an asshole like him as his first two. Hell, even Naruto could be a better two than this man in front of him. Listen to me, even if Tsume mark you as her new mate, she is still my bitch. That did it. Naruto just looks at him as he disappeared, then kicks him into the wall. As his back hits the wall, he looks at Naruto. He was mixed with shock and angry because he didn't realize that this brat had power in him, and pissed that he had the guts to do that to him. Right now Naruto was past being pissed off. This man thinks he can come in here and act like he wants to. This person remembers him so much of the asshole Sasuke. How he wants to hurt this man in front of him for calling Tsume his bitch like that. That when he feels two arms around him, which he looks back and sees Tsume smiling at him. Now you leave this house right now. Your kids don't even want to see you, so get the hell out of my house. He just looks at Tsume, then makes a fist, but he knows this isn't a way to get back at her. He had a good idea to do that, which he was going to love to see the hurt on both of their faces. I'll be going for now. He then starts walking out of the house, which Naruto was glad that he was gone. Tsume and her kids were also glad as well. Hana couldn't believe that her two had the guts to come back after doing that to them. Kiba hated him and wishes he never comes back. Naruto moves behind Tsume as he wraps his arms around her. She leans back into his chest, which she smiles, which this was when both Kiba and Hana start walking out of the room and fast. Naruto just smiles at her as he slowly kisses her lips. How he loved this woman that he was with. How are you feeling, Tsume? She looks up at him as she just stares into his slit eyes, which she realizes that he looks better with slit eyes than normal blue eyes. But he does wonder how come his wings aren't out. I'm doing better now that you're holding me, but what happened to your wings? Naruto just gives her a little laugh, then kisses her neck right on the mate mark. I can put them back into my body when I'm not fighting. How about I take you out for lunch? She smiles to him as she leans into his neck, then closes her eyes. I would love that if we did, but how about we go as a family then? That why we can talk about making a wedding for everyone to come and see. Because if I remember right, you promised to make it the best one I could even have. Naruto just smiles to her because he knows that he promised her that and he was going to keep it. After all, he never goes back on one of his promise of a lifetime now. Yes, I do promise that, and it sounds like a good idea to do. Naruto does realize that this is a good idea because he gets to know his new family more and start planning the wedding for her. Which he then slaps himself upside the head. I forget that I need to get you a ring still. Tsume just giggles to him, then kisses his neck again. You can get that later because like I said, the mate marking is like a ring for my clan. You're all mine now and you better learn fast. She gives him a wink at the last part, which Naruto just blushes when he realizes what she means by that. I guess I better be good at learning because I want to see you in your new outfits tonight. Naruto smirks as Tsume just looks at him, then walks to where Hana and Kiba. She uses her hand to tell him to follow her. Which he does, but when he catches up to Tsume, he gives her a nice slap on her, which she just slaps him upside the head playfully. Ka, what are you doing here now? Kiba said as he was playing with his dog partner. Hana was wondering this as well as she was trying to feed her three partners. The four of us are going out to lunch, so you better behave or you know what will happen. I think that guy wouldn't mind babysitting you guys again. Both Hana and Kiba look at their Ka like she was crazy. Last time he was here to watch over them, it was a living nightmare and they never want to go through that again. Naruto, on the other hand, was glad he never had to have Guy want over them. Hana didn't like this idea because then her Ka will try to get everyone to know each other better. She doesn't dislike Naruto, but it was just too weird for her to think that he's her too. But on the other hand, he was a lot better of a two than her first one. Kiba did not really like the idea of Naruto being his two as well. That was because he was his age, but also he had lost the fight against Naruto. But he was glad that Naruto kicked his first two into the wall. So that was something Kiba was glad that he did that so far as his new two. Tsume knows that her kids will take time to get used to Naruto because of his age and that fact he beat her son in a fight. But she does hope everyone will get along with each other because she loves Naruto and she loves her kids. Where are we going to eat out, Ka? Tsume was thinking now because she does want to stop Naruto from his eating ramen all the time. He had it 2 times so far today, which in her mind wasn't a good thing for someone to eat that much of it. We're going to eat out the dango place. Naruto just looks at her, which she gives him a evil smirk. Naruto moves his lips to her ear as he whispers into it. You will be making up for no ramen tonight. Tsume's face becomes deeper red as she just kisses his neck, then nibs on it as both Hana and Kiba just want to throw up. Let's get going now. Naruto just walks out as Tsume starts to walk out in front of him. He looks at the one place his eyes can't keep from looking. Tsume just smirks as she shakes her a little bit for him. Now both Hana and Kiba realize this launch is going to be a living nightmare for them. When the 4 of them get to the dango place, they see that Kurenai and Anko are still there, but Kurenai has her team now with her. Her team without Kiba, which he was wondering why Hinata and Shino are with her and not him. How come you guys are with Kurenai sensei? Shino just looks up at him, which he doesn't know why he was here at all. Don't ask me, I still don't know why I'm here. Kiba was shocked that for the first time Shino didn't know what was going on. We were on our way to get you, but Anko forced us to stop and eat with her. Anko just looks innocent with a dango in her mouth. Naruto just shakes his head because she was acting like the same old Anko. They order their dangos and sit down as Anko just looks over at Naruto. Tsume-chan, what are you doing to do little Naru-kun tonight? After what you told me before, little Naru-kun is going to have one hell of a night tonight. Tsume blushes as Naruto just looks at her because he was right, she did talk to her about this. Tsume on the other hand was hoping Anko wasn't going to say anything, but now she was found out. I really don't want hear about thing kind of thing. Both Hana and Kiba yelled out as Naruto just laughs, which causes Anko to giggle as well. Tsume was getting deeper shade of red by the second, which Naruto just moves his arm around her waist and holds her close to him. Tsume moves her head against his neck, which Kurenai smiles at the two of them. How are you going to go about fighting that Gaara person, Naruto? Naruto just smirks as he remembers the other jailer. He knows that he has to do his best to try to save him from himself and all the hate he has inside of him. I'm going to save him from the hate he has to live with. He's a jailer just like me, and I'm not going to let him keep thinking that he's a weapon to be used and thrown away once he has done his job. That when everyone was shocked, but older shinobis know what he means by jailer, and that only means that this fight was going to be jailer against jailer, and they hope that Naruto lives this fight. You're crazy, Naruto, do you know that? What if he doesn't want to be saved from that kind of life? Naruto just shakes his head as he looks at Shino. No one would like that kind of life, it was full of hate and sadness. It was a life that Naruto had to live for so long, but now he's happy and has a new life to follow. No one would like that kind of time to live, everyone in the village hating you and wishing you was died. That was a life that wasn't for anyone, but people still live it no matter what. But they can be saved, and I will not stop till I can save as many of them as I can. Everyone just stares at him with mixed feelings. Tsume couldn't believe that her new mate was someone that would help anyone with a hurtful life. She was truly glad that she had found someone that cared about people and wants to help others. She was a Inuzuka and a prideful shinobi, which she can see that Naruto means what he just said about helping as many as he can. Shino was thinking the same, that he needs to force more on him and not on everyone else in the world. But then again he realizes that if he did that, he wouldn't be the Naruto that everyone knows and has come to like. Anko was thankful that some people like Naruto was in this world and didn't hate others. He wants to help them from their past so they can have better lives and not the ones they are living now. Which she just hoped that he helps her with her past, but she knows that she can handle it herself. Hana was thinking that she and Naruto are somewhat alike because she became a medic in order to heal as many animals that she could find. He wants to help as many people that are hurting, which she can't believe that her Ka got someone like this and she couldn't. Kurenai was just smiling because she had seen Naruto talk like this before. No matter how many times she has seen or heard him talk like this, she feels happy to be around him. She doesn't know what makes him become so big of a helper and a hero, but she was glad that some people in this world are like him. Hinata was glad, but she was still hurt because she can't be with him, but she needs a plan so she can be with him. Even if it was forcing him by blackmailing, she was going to do it. No one could sense the evil aura coming from Hinata right now. When the dangos finally come to them, they started to eat as Naruto had his right hand under the table and on Tsume's right thigh. Kurenai, what are you and your team going to now? Kurenai just moves her hand to her arm as she thinks. We're going try and help Shino train because he has his match coming up soon as well. So I want to make sure he is ready no matter what. Naruto just smiles because he was glad that she was being good to her team. Hana, what are you going to do? Hana just looks at him, which she figures he trying to learn more about his soon-to-be daughter. She still feels that's little bit weird that he's younger than her and his going be her too. But it also weird that she going to like him more than she should because he's her new too soon, but she hopes she doesn't start to have a crush on him. I'm going to be working at the vet office like I normally do every day. I only go on missions when they need a tracker for finding people. Naruto nods his head as he looks at her, then back at Tsume. Naru-kun, when you going to start training for your match? Naruto just looks back at Anko, which he wonders why she loves giving him a new pet name. But he does realize that he has to start training soon, but right now he just wants to spend more time with Tsume. I'm going to start training soon, I just want to spend more time with Tsume before I go off and start training. Tsume just smiles, then moves her head deeper into his neck. Naruto just loves feeling her hot breath on his neck because he's starting to love just being this close to her. What have you been up to, Anko-chan? Anko just looks at Tsume, which she was trying to think if this was Tsume's way of getting back at her for telling them about Naruto and Tsume and what they're doing tonight. I'm been going, I love my job and hearing people yell out in pain. Naruto just shakes his head because she was still the crazy Anko that he knows. Don't worry, Naruto, I would never do that to you. I just do something else and you yell out in pleasure and not pain. Naruto just keeps shaking his head as he wonders if she will drop the mask that she has on. The Sia Anbu jump down in front of them as he looks at Anko, then Tsume. The Hokage has asked that Tsume-sama, Anko and Kurenai to come to the Hokage office now. With that said, he disappears and Tsume kisses Naruto goodbye and leaves. I guess I'll go to then. With that said, Naruto starts to walk away, which everyone was wondering what was going on. Naruto was wondering the same thing, but he didn't like this one bit so far because Hokage had ruined his time out with his mate. Naruto starts to walk around the northeast side of the village, which he notices the three sound genins, which he hears them talking to someone. When he gets closer, he can hear what they are saying to each other. Orochimaru-sama, you can't mean what you just said, you can't just use us as your humans for your jutsu. That's when Naruto sees Orochimaru come out as he just looks at the three with a pissed off face. I'm the one that gave you a new life and you will do as I said. Soon this village will fall under the armies of sand and sound. That when Naruto has had enough and jumps in front of the three sound genins. You are not a god, Tem. Naruto was now pissed off as he starts using some of Kyuubi chakra not to fight but to send a message to everyone in this area. You will die today. Do you really believe that you could beat me? You're nothing but a genin without any real power. As he said that, Naruto goes into his bloodline and turns into his werewolf form, which Snake Freak just looks at him. But he also sees a chakra tail come out of him as he was wondering how much of Kyuubi power could he use. Snake Freak, you're going be attacking the village, are you? You'll never get that chance because you'll die here. Naruto starts to make hand signs and creates 10 shadow clones, which 9 of them rush at him as the real one keeps building up more Kyuubi chakra. Do you really think that you can beat me? You're one fool of a genin, Kukukik. The three sound genins are shocked because he was helping them after they tried to kill him. Who in the right mind would do that? Which Kim just stares at him, which she doesn't know why she is. I can't beat you alone, you're right on that, but whoever said I was alone, did you forget once people see my chakra they will come and check it out? Once he said that Kara and Yugito along with the Hokage jumped down. Orochimaru now was pissed, scared at what he was seeing. If it isn't my old student, what are you doing here now? The old man wasn't happy at what he was looking at. How come his ex-student come back to this village after all this time and think he can get away with it? Damn you. With that said, the snake moves back into the shadows and disappears. Two things now: I have bad news, and second, I'll look after the sound genins, but only if they tell us what's going on. But first, bad news is that sound and sand are going to attack, I don't know when. That when Naruto and old man looks at the three genins, which they know only way to live is to sell out the person that was going use them and kill them. They going to attack at the finales and they plan on using Gaara to lose control of his demon and kill everyone. Naruto makes a fist because he was pissed that someone would use someone like that in a way to win a fight. Didn't anyone have any pride or human left inside of them to use a living being like that? To use a living being like that, these people aren't human at all. They see Naruto becoming more pissed off as Yugito puts her hand on his head because both her and Kara are feeling the same way he is. As for you three, you'll be living with Naruto at the Inuzuka clan house till this attack is over, then you may have a chance to live a free life again. The man just looks at Naruto, which he just smirks. Did I forget to tell you that Tsume is forcing you to move in with her? Also, you still need to find more wives to being back your clan, also your bloodline. After he said that, the Hokage walks away from everyone. Why does everything happen to me or something? Yugito just giggles at him, which Naruto just looks at her eyes as both of them blush then look away. This way you three come. Naruto starts walking back to Tsume home, which now is his home. Once they get inside the clan house, Naruto sees Tsume, which she just smirks to him. You're forcing me to stay here now. You really are one bossy woman, Tsume, but that's a good thing in my mind. Tsume just gives him a feral smirk as she sees the three new house members behind him. You three must be the genins I was told about, and don't worry, I don't bite, I only bite my Naru-kun. Naruto just shakes his head as he walks next to her, which the green genins just wonder who this person is. I'm going to take a nap, been a busy day today. Naruto just slaps her, causing her to jump and blush because he did that again in front of people. He just smirks as he heads to his and Tsume bed to take a long nap. I'll wake you up for dinner and after dinner fun. Naruto just smirks at his crazy mate as he keeps heading to their bedroom, which the sound genins were lost in all of this. Why someone would at her age be dating someone like Naruto, it made no sense to them. I'll show you to your rooms now. They followed her as she leads then to their new rooms. 4 hours later, Naruto feels something wet going down his chest. As he opens his eyes, he sees her kissing his chest. Then once she sees him up, she moves her lips to his as he gladly kisses her back, which he wraps his arms around her lower back. I guess it's dinner time or fun time. Which one is first, Tsume? She just thinks for a minute because she knows everyone waiting for them to come to dinner, but it was so hard not to have him. We have guests, so we have to go to dinner first. But don't worry, my little kitsune, you'll have be soon. Naruto just smirks as he slowly gets up and sees his clothes in the bedroom. I put all your stuff in the bedroom, so get some new clothes on. Which that said, she goes to the dresser and starts getting new clothes for herself. Naruto can tell that she's little bit wet and naked, so she must have just come out of the shower. When he gets up from the bed, he watches his mate puts on a red thong and the bra that she got today. She puts on a pair of black pants and a tan shirt. Which he just goes behind her and grabs her, which she just looks at him. You touch that too much, Naru-kun. His only replied was a smirk and a playful slap on her right side of her. He then goes and changes his clothes, which he was now in a pair of orange pants and again no shirt, which Tsume loves seeing. Once both of them finally got done, they walk out of the room together. As they get to the dinner hall, he sees the Kumo shinobi and their leader in the room, as well as Kiba and Hana. Also, he notices the 3 sound genins, which he was shocked to see people from 3 villages sitting together without killing. I didn't think I would see you guys so soon. Samui just looks at him as her blue eyes were locked on him, whom she still has no idea why. She still can't believe that her Rakas had told them of his plan, and she was still shocked that he was thinking of something like that and hopes Naruto says yes. I also come here to tell you that after Chunin tests that I have a plan to make the allies with our villages stronger. I'll tell you what it is once the tests are over and you win. Naruto just smirks as pulls Tsume chair out for her, then she just kissed his lips and bites his neck. She then sits down as Naruto goes to his chair and sits down. Yugito was wondering if he likes being bite. If he did, then she wouldn't mind biting him all over. She feels draw to him because of Kyuubi is inside of him and wonders things about him. She knows that if it anything, it's just a crush and it will go away soon. I see, I guess I have to win then, don't I? The Rakas just smirks as he looks at the young shinobi. He has never seen anyone act like the young man in front of him. It was nice to see that someone could be strong but show his joking and nice side to everyone. Thank you again Naruto for letting us keep our lives and not be killed. Naruto eyes go to the sound genins because he still remembers their names but they don't need to say thank you to him. You don't need to thank me and because of the things you told us we can stop sand and sound from attacking us. You have saved many people by doing what you did. Everyone was shocked at what Naruto said because he didn't care if these sound genins were once the enemy and how could he have such a kind and forgiving heart. How could you forgive us so easy? This isn't something you could forgive. We were part of the team that was going to kill the village and your teammate Sasuke. Kim was the first one to talk back to Naruto which he just shakes his head to her. If people keep on hating each other then they will never be peace in this world. To have peace in our world we must learn to forgive others and move on. Hate is the cause of all wars and death. We need to break the circle of hate and fear. Everyone was just staring at him because this was something new to hear from a shinobi. Everyone knows inside that it was true about what Naruto was saying but it wasn't an easy thing to do. That was really moving Naruto. Naruto just nods his head to Kara which he starts to rap as everyone just looks at him which his older brother the Rakas just slaps him upside the head. Sorry about my brother, he has a problem with raping all the time. Tsume just laughs as Naruto just shakes his head. Sometimes he wonders if he meets all the crazy and weird people because he's the only one that can understand them or something. You don't need to say sorry Reika-sama but tell me Kara how did you get yourself into raping? The man with black sunglasses just makes a big smile as he thinks about how he found the love of raping. It was back when I was put on my first genin team. My sensei was always raping which I thought it was weird at first but then come to love it. So from then on I started to rap all the time which my students never picked it up and I don't know why. Samui just rolls his eyes as Naruto just laughs which Tsume just moves her head on his neck. Sometimes it was nice to have days like this even if you're a shinobi. Naruto you can just call me E by the way, but we need to talk about the sand and sound attack that happening soon. My shinobis that I have here with me will help in the fight with me against sand and sound. I'll also be sitting next to the Hokage so you don't need to worry about the old man. Naruto doesn't know why but he feels better now that he knows the old man is going to be safe. He doesn't hate him but he doesn't like him but he still remember times when he was younger and he was only one that helped him. He knows old man didn't help him out of pity but because he truly cared about him as if he was his own son. Sometimes he wonders what would have happened if they had known the truth about Danzo and what happened if he still had his family. Something like that has always been on his mind and dreams lately. He also wonders if he would still be with Tsume then. If he had lost her then that was something that he would regret for the rest of his life. Tsume showed his love and passion that someone else has in his life. She showed him how to love someone else not just with your heart but with your body as well. He moves his hand over hers as he just leans his head against hers. Everyone that was watching this feel the love coming off them as they keep watching how they act towards each other. Hannah couldn't help but smile because she was glad that her mother was happy even if it was with someone younger than her. Kiba still didn't like that Naruto was that close to his mother but he couldn't do anything about it so he had to accept it. Once they finish eating Tsume shows the Kumo shinobis out as Naruto walks to their bedroom which she just follows after him. Once both of them get inside the bedroom Naruto looks deep into her eyes as he closes the door behind her. I guess I have my Inuheim now. Yes you do but tell me, do you still remember all the things I showed you last night? Naruto just smirks as he kisses her neck and moves his hands up her shirt. When he looks at Tsume's eyes he can tell that she doesn't want him to be gently with her. So he moves his hands to the front of her shirt and rips it off her. Once he does that Tsume just smirks at him then moves her hands over his chest. Naruto starts to lick her right nipple which he was glad she put on the new bra she got at the place. My Inuheim your nipples are getting so hard and so fast. Tsume starts to moan as he keeps up his assault on her nipple as he rubs her through her bra. He then moves his hands to the back of her bra and unhooks it as it falls to the floor on top of the pieces of her shirt. You really do learn fast. She moaned out as he keeps up his assault on her hard nipples, but he moves down as he licks around her right then to her chest. When he gets to her belly, he licks around her belly button, causing shivers up Tsume's body as she lets out a pleasure's moan. She can't believe how he was working on her body when she feels a jolt of pleasure once she feels his hand go under her pants and rub against her through her thong. Naruto starts to undo her pants as he has his right hand rub and pinch her nipples. He rolls the nipple around in between his two fingers, which he earns a moan of pleasure out of his mate. Tsume moves Naruto up as she pushes him on the bed as he looks at him with seductive eyes. Did you really think you could make me your bitch that easy? Her voice was huskily as she moves his pants down, then his boxers, which Naruto just watches her as she takes his member into her hand. Tsume moves the tip of his member to her lips as she starts to lick around the head, then down the side of his member as she can hear her mate let out a moan. She then starts to stroke his member as she moves her mouth to his balls and lightly licks it, then takes one into her mouth. Naruto moans as he looks down at his mate sucking his balls and jacking him off. She starts to move back to his tip as she takes his member all the way into her mouth as she stares up at him as she can feel that it's making him more ecstasy by looking at her eyes as she sucks him off. As she sucks on him faster, she comes up with an idea to make her mate feel more pleasure. She takes her mouth off his member, which Naruto lets out a sign but moans once Tsume moves her on each side of his member as he feels her rubbing against his member. He lets out a longer moan. Do you like feeling my against your? At this rate you'll be the one that's the submissive one. Which Naruto just smirks as he hears that and moves her on her back against the floor as he moves down to her wet dripping thong. He just rips it off as he licks around her lips, causing Tsume to let out a moan of pleasure. This time it was longer. I think I'm the one that going make you my bitch. He then licks her as he moves one hand to her and the other hand moves to her lips and starts to slide a finger into her dripping wet womanhood. Stop teasing me. Tsume cried out as she couldn't take all the teasing that he was doing to her. Naruto starts to suck on her now as he slides his tongue inside of her. He really does like the taste of her. He uses his right hand to grabs and slap her, which cause her to feel more jolts of pleasures going through her body. Naruto keeps licking as he moves his left hand to her and gives it a hard slap, which that's what finally causes her to have her first orgasm. Naruto just licks all of her cum that's coming out of her as he just moves to her lips and kisses her. I taste good, don't I? Naruto just kisses her neck as he moves his lips to her ear and whispers. Are you really to become my bitch? Which she just nods her head as he moves his member to her lips. He starts to tease her by rubbing it against her but not putting it inside of her, which causes her to look at him. Naruto, stop teasing me and put it inside of me. I need you inside of me now. Naruto could hear the plea in her voice as he knows that she really wants him now. But he comes up with a better idea as he moves her on top her hands and knees in doggy as he moves behind her. How much do you want it, my little Inuheim? Tsume looks over at him with pleasing eyes. I need your badly, please fuck me and give me more pups. Naruto starts to move inside of you as he enters her. She feels more jolts of pleases as she moves back at him. He moves harder into her as he can feel her hips moving against him, which both of them let out moans of pleasure. Naruto moves his hands to her as they play and pinch her nipples hard, causing her to let out louder moans, which makes Naruto smirk at her. She couldn't believe that he was doing this much better since last night. Last time she was the one leading him, but now he was making her his bitch finally. Now she knows that she picked the right mates as she feels her whole body fill with pleasure as he was dominations her. Naruto can hear him balls slapping against her legs as he keeps going inside harder. She keeps meeting his thrusts with her hips as she feels herself having her second orgasm, which Naruto can feel her cum going on his member, which causes him to moan out as he thrusts harder and deeper into her. Naruto moves so her back is on the bed as he enters her again, which she was more than happily to have him inside her again. She was glad that he did have this inhuman stamina of his from the Kyuubi. He moves her legs up in a verses which her legs were now against his shoulders as he can move deeper into her. He was starting to hit places that Tsume didn't even know about as she keeps moaning out his name. Tsume, I'm about to come inside of you. She smiles as she looks at him, then wraps her legs around his back, forcing him to go harder into him. He keeps up his pace as he starts to rub her hard, causing her to get ready to come again. I can't hold it anymore, Tsume. Naruto yells as he thrusts again as he can feel her walls tightening on his member as he can feel that she about to come as well. I'm going to come too and you better come inside of me. I want your pups. He hears Tsume say that, which he hopes that she has his kids too as he comes inside her, which he can feel her coming as well. He takes his member out of her as she sits up with all of the strength she has left and starts to clean his member off. I really do taste good. Once she gets done cleaning him off, she moves him down and climbs on top of him. After few more rounds, they both lay with their arms wrapped around each other as they start to go into a deep sleep. But little did they know that now both Hana and Kiba have nightmares because they didn't use the jutsu to keep the sounds from leaving the room, and with their great hearing, now they have been scarred for life after hearing their ka having. When he wakes up, he then sees his mate and just looks at Tsume's naked luscious body that she has. He starts to move his hand over her face as her moves the hair in her face to behind her ear. She starts to move as she feels his hand on her face. When she opens her eyes, she stares into his blue slit eyes, which she just smiles to him, then moves her head to neck as she nibs on it. Naruto just smiles as he feels her nib on his neck, which he then moves his hand to her and gives it a nice slap. You really love that way too much, Tsume said as he just kisses her lips as his replied back to that. What can I say? You have the best in the world. Tsume just gives him a feral smirk as she gets up, which he watches her get off the bed as he can't take his eyes off her naked body. Tsume looks back at Naruto, which she comes up with a great idea for the both of them. How about you come in the shower with me? Naruto just smirks as he gets out of the bed and follows her to the shower, which once they get inside the bathroom, Naruto just keeps his hands on her, which she just slaps him playful on the head. After some shower fun, Naruto and Tsume go back into bedroom and put on clothes, and they hope that they can keep them on this time. Naruto is in red pants and black shirt, which Tsume was now in white pants and white shirt, which Naruto just looks at her. You're my wild Inu Haim. Naruto starts to walk out the room as he says that to her, which she just follows him with a smirk on her face. Naruto slowly wakes up as he looks around, which he finds himself without clothes on again, but once he looks does find his clothes, they don't look like how they used to look like because now his clothes are ripped apart. But in a way he was glad that he didn't have any of the claw marks on him and it was just his clothes that did. He smirks as he thinks about what happened because even after the shower they couldn't keep their hands off each other. He looks over to see Tsume sleeping peaceful, which he can clearly see that she was smiling in her sleep. Naruto was glad that even in her sleep that she's happy, but he does start to get out of their bed. He walks to where his clothes were placed as he grabs and puts on a new pair of boxers as he takes some clothes with him. He starts to head to the bathroom to take a quick shower, but once he opens the bathroom, he sees a fully naked Kin, but once Kin realizes he was in the room, she just starts yelling at him as he quickly walks out of the bathroom. But he had to say to himself in his mind that she was great looking, even if it was for a second he had seen all of her. She was good in both areas, which he wonders what she will look like when she a full-grown woman. But he still doesn't understand why she used this bathroom, it was long way from her room. He just walks back to the bedroom, but he sees that Tsume was now up and looking at him with sleepy eyes. She must have heard the yelling and that the reason why she was up right now from her peaceful sleeping. What is with all the yelling, Naru-kun? What did you do this time to make someone yell at you? Naruto couldn't help but smile at his mate because she looks so cute when she's just waking up. I didn't know anyone was in the bathroom, and when I walked in I found Kin naked. But I really do have to tell you that you look so cute when you're just waking up. Tsume just starts to laugh as she comes close to falling off the bed. Naruto couldn't help it as he moves to keep Tsume from falling off the bed, but he lets out a long laugh. He walks back away as he looks at the form of his sleepy love, but he comes up with an idea. Naruto walks over to her as he kisses her lips, which she just kisses back. No fun now because of you, I'm way too sore from the first part, then the second made me even more sore, but I really don't know how I did the last part. Naruto just smirks at her as he sits down on the bed and pulls his naked mate on top of his lap. He just loves the feel of her naked body against his as he runs his hands all over her body. Can you really blame me for having tons of stamina because you didn't want to stop, if I remember right? Who really is to blame, the one with the stamina or the one that didn't want to stop? Tsume just moves into his chest as she closes her eyes, which Naruto just shakes his head because Naruto was starting to wonder if she was going back to sleep. Was she really just going sleep on him like this, or was she just closing her eyes? He finds out when he hears her fast asleep, but Naruto just lays her back down on the bed and pulls the covers over her as she doesn't get cold. She was truly someone who he loved to be around, which he knows that he's going to get yelled out again soon. He really doesn't know why people love to yell at him for some reason or another. Naruto goes to one of the other bathrooms and takes a quick shower, then dries off as he puts his clothes on. Once he gets out, he starts to head towards the dinner hall, which he sees that everyone's sitting down eating different things. Kiba and Hana start to give him evil glares, which he was wondering why they are acting like that towards him, but he was going to ask him why. What's with the evil staring, you two? I didn't do anything wrong, I think. Maybe one or two things wrong, but nothing to get this mad at me for. Hana just wanted to hurt him if he really didn't know why they're doing that. Because how in the world couldn't he tell why they are this mad at him, but he doesn't know that just makes her want to kill him. We have really good hearing because of our clan, and you didn't do anything to stop the sounds from coming out of Ka's bedroom last night and early this morning. We both can agree on this, and that is we don't want to hear that kind of things that our Ka does. She yelled at him as he just rubs the back of his head. He never realizes that both him and Tsume starting being that aloud because they didn't really pay much mind about the sounds last night. We are now scarred for life thanks to you and our Ka. Why did you have to do that to us? Why, man, why? Naruto just grins as he keeps rubbing his head as the three sound genins just look at him and then at the two kids of Tsume. They still can't believe that someone Tsume age was dating someone the age of Naruto. You do know if it was really that bad, there are other rooms in the other Inuzuka clan houses. That when both Hana and Kiba slapped themselves on the head for forgetting about the other houses in the clan grounds. Kiba was now looking over at Hana for forgetting to tell him that or to remember it herself. Or if you didn't want to leave your room, you could have put the jutsu up to stop the sounds from coming into your room. That when they just dropped their heads to the table for forgiving that as well. Naruto couldn't help but laugh at what he was seeing because they were yelling at me about forgetting, but they did it for both things. Kin is looking at him as she is a blush on her face when she does because of what just happened in the bathroom. How is everyone staying here so far? The sound genins just look at him, whom they couldn't believe that the village let them go like that and that he saved them from being used as bodies for the jutsu. Zaku was the first one to speak up. We are doing good thanks to you, but I want to know is why you doing all this for us? We were your enemy and tired to kill your team, so why are you helping us like this? Both Kin and Dosu nod their head to him as well, which he just shakes his head. Sometimes he wonders why most he keep on saying this over and over to these genins because it was really getting old now. You were following your leader orders, which everyone has to follow their village leader no matter what. You also were about to be used just so he could use one of his jutsus later in the finales, but also you gave us all the plans about Sound and Sand. Now we know that they are going to attack and we can get ready for it. Thanks to you for giving us the plans, you have saved many lives for that. The three of them slowly feel like they can trust him because he had saved them and gave them a place to live at. Where is Ka? She's not down here with you. Naruto moves his face in order to look at Hana, which he just smirks. Because their Ka was sleeping because of how tired she's right now, but he was going have fun teasing them about this. Payback really was a bitch in so many ways, but Naruto loves that. Well, your Ka is sleeping because she's tried and sore from having too much fun. Both of them just look at him shocked because he had outlasted someone that was older than him and knows more things than him. Naruto just laughs as he looks at them, which he just doesn't get tired of seeing people shocked because of his high stamina. One thing he loves about being a demon jailer, and that was fast healing and high stamina. Naruto was about to tease them more, but he hears a knock on the door. He slowly goes to the door. As he opens it, he sees Kurenai standing there, which he was wondering how come she was here at this time of the day. I bet you're wondering why I'm here, because it's not every day a Kumo shinobi knocks on your door. Naruto nods. Your Kenjutsu teacher couldn't do it because she not stable right now, so the Hokage asked me to train you. He was thankful that she was going to train him, but he just hopes she doesn't mind him and his wondering eyes. He is fully loyal to Tsume, but sometimes his eyes look but he doesn't touch. When do you want to start training? Naruto asked her as she just looks and moves her head, showing her she wants to go now. Kiba, tell your Ka I went out to train. He then starts walking out the door as he closes it. How long have you been a shinobi for Karui-chan? Naruto was hoping to learn more about his new sensei. He wanted to know because he wanted to see what kind of woman she was, because she does look great. She is the first one beside Kyuubi to have red hair, as he wonders if that her real color or if she dried it out. Karui could tell that he was looking her over a few times, but part of him her glad that someone was doing that. But Karui wasn't used to people doing that because most people are scared to say the wrong thing to her. She sometimes yells at them or hurts them when they make her mad or say something about women. I've been a shinobi since I was 10, so 16 years now. Naruto nods his head, which for someone her age she was looking great. She didn't have big chest, but she did have a good, which he wonders if Tsume got him into loving women's or something. How long are we going to train today for? Naruto makes his hand signs as a shadow clone comes and walks to him, which he order it to go get his katana. Kurenai looks at him, which she has to teach him to never leave his katana behind. First lesson: never leave your katana behind when you're walking around, no matter what. As for how long, only few hours today. Naruto nods his head, which he wishes he would have remembered to bring his katana so she wouldn't have got mad at me. Back with Tsume as she starts to wake up again, but when she opens her eyes she doesn't see Naruto. Tsume lets out a long yawn as she slowly gets up out of her bed as the light from the outside coming through her window hits her body, causing her skin to look like it was shining. She slowly moves over to her dress as she takes out a black thong and a black bra. She starts putting them on as she pulls out a normal pair of pants. She pulls them on as she looks through her dresser to find a shirt. She finally finds one that she likes as she puts it on. She was now waiting a blue shirt which showed off some of her chest. Once she was done with changing, her then moves out of her room and to the living room, where she sees her kids talking to the sound genins. Where did my little Naru-kun run off to this time? Tsume asked them as Hana was the first to look at her Ka. He went to train with one of the Kumo shinobis with his katana. Tsume nods her head as she goes into the kitchen to get something to eat. Hana walks in after her Ka does as she looks at her. Why in the world did you pick to fall for someone a lot younger than you, Ka? Tsume just looks at her with a smirk because she was waiting for her daughter to ask her that. I did it because he's a great person and he doesn't think about all the time like most of people my age, but also the fact that he's a fast learner helps. Hana was now looking at her Ka like she is nuts. I really never even needed to know that about Naruto, Ka. I really wish you would keep some kind of jutsu up so we didn't have to hear that all night and morning. Tsume just gives another feral smirk to her daughter because why would she do that? That only uses more time up by doing something outside of bed. I thought I was the Ka around here. You sound like me, but then again I never need to tell you about putting up a jutsu because you are still my good girl. Hana just blushes because her mother still calls her that because she never had yet. You really need to stop calling me that Ka. It's not something I want people to know about me, okay? Hana just walks out the kitchen as Tsume starts eating some leftovers from last night dinner. Tsume sees Kin walk in as she smirks because this was going to be fun making with the little genin. I heard Naruto-kun walked in on you in the bathroom, sounds like you gave him a nice show. Kin just blushes as she looks at the older woman, but Tsume just keeps smirking to her. It wasn't like that, he just walked in and scared me. Kin blushing even harder as Tsume looks at her. Maybe he'll try to look again. Kin blushes 3 times harder. I'm only joking, you don't need worry about that. Kin lets out long breath of air as she hears that she was just joking with her, but she doesn't like the fact that Tsume is teasing her this much. She needs find a way not to let Tsume tease her again this bad again, but that never going to happen. Now back with Naruto and Karui as they are sparring together on the training grounds. Karui was now sweating as she couldn't believe Naruto has this much stamina to keep going like this. Her shirt starts to get dumped because of all the sweating that she's doing, but because of that it's getting tighter on her. Naruto looks at her as he can see her chest better because of it as he can't stop looking. She notices him staring at her chest, but she didn't mind that he's doing this. But she was getting this chance to tease him about staring at her chest like that. That was one thing she wasn't going let pass her by because she wants to see him blush. So are you enjoying staring at my chest like that, Naruto-kun? Naruto starts to blush as he looks away. I do wonder now, does Tsume have a good chest and is it better than my? Naruto blushes even harder as he thinks of both hers and Tsume's chests. Can we just get back to training now, Karui? She nods her head to him as he smiles because he was glad he didn't have to talk about these kinds of things with her. Few hours later of training, both of them are now sitting down as he looks at her. He notices her shirt is now even more dumped as he can see her chest even better than before. She looks at him as she smirks, then moves her hands to the bottom of her shirt. She starts to lift it over her head as Naruto was shocked that she was doing something like this in front of him. Once she was done, he notices that she didn't have a bra under her shirt as he can see her small. They may be small when he thinks about Tsume, but Karui's fit her so perfectly, but he did think they were cute because of how small they are. They're not flat, but he had to guess she was around a small B. What are you doing, Karui? Karui just looks at him. She couldn't believe he was acting like this because she was topless in front of her. She took her shirt off because she was hot, but he's starting to think other things, but that what Karui is thinking he's doing. I'm hot, so I took my shirt off. Is that against the laws of this village to be topless? She asked him as he shakes his head no, he couldn't keep his eyes off her, but they hear footsteps move closer to them as Karui quickly puts her shirt back on. When person comes into view, Karui yells out, Omni, what in hell you doing here, and you better have a good reason. Omni just looks at her as he was wondering what these two were doing outside all alone. I was asked to check in on you, but looks like you two just got done having some fun. Omni just laughs as he looks at Karui, who is getting pissed off by the second. Naruto, I'll see you later, I have to kill this fool. Naruto watches Karui starting to run after Omni, who is now running for his life back to his sensei with a sexy redhead following him ready to kill him. Naruto starts walking back to his new home as he thinks about all the people he has met in the last week. Sometimes he wonders if he has good luck or bad luck to meet so many women all at one time. But as he was walking home, he sees a weapon shop with a beautiful katana in the window. He walks closer to the place as he notices the katana is for sale. He starts coming up with an idea as he starts to wonder if he can handle using 2 katanas at one time. When he walks in, he sees Tenten was the one behind the table, which she notices Naruto walking inside the shop. Hello Naruto, how come you are inside my family shop? She nicely asked him as she wonders if he's here to buy something. I was wondering how much is the katana in the window. Tenten looks at the katana, but she was glad someone wanted to buy it. It has been there for a long time now, but no one wants to buy it. Are you thinking about buying it, Naruto? Tenten sees him nod his head as he goes to the katana. She brings it over to the table as she goes to the papers her dad told her to read. It had everything cost on it as she looks up to see what the cost of the katana is. The katana was in a black sheath with what looks like a dragon running down the sides. Once Tenten told him the cost, he quickly pays for it as he then walks out with it on his back. Naruto starts wondering what his love is doing right now, but he know he's going find out once he walks into the house. When Naruto gets closer to the house, he sees Hana running after Kiba with look that promise death if she catches him. Naruto walks inside the house, which he does see Tsume laying down on the couch. His prankster side starts to come out as he walks over to the kitchen as he gets a piece of ice. Once he has it, then he goes to the couch and quickly puts it down her pants, causing Tsume jump as it hit her skin. When Tsume turns to see who did that, he sees Naruto laughing with his hands holding his sides. You think that funny, Narukoi? Now if I were you, I'd get this ice out of my thong now, because it got inside my thong thanks to how you put it down my pants. Naruto just smirks as he walks over to her. I'll do as you wish, my lovely Inu Haim. He moves his hand down her pants and under her thong, but he realizes she was lying about ice being there. Hana and Kiba walk in to see Naruto doing this as they both turn red. What in hell are you two doing? Hana yells at the top of her lungs as both of them look at them. Naruto and Tsume just smirk to the both of them as they just think their ka is crazy. We are having some fun bonding time, do you mind if we do have some? After all, we are dating each other. Hana didn't like how Naruto had a comeback to this because she wasn't like already walking in on this kind of things. Naruto removes his hand from her pants as she looks at him because she didn't want him to remove his hand just yet. Hana, now you ruined your ka fun. Hana just shakes her head because she really wishes her ka would act normal for once in her life. Why can't you just act normal for once, ka? Tsume just looks at her daughter because if she acts normal then she wouldn't be herself anymore and become a new person. But she doesn't want to change herself, but that was because she just loves how she teases people. Now if I changed how I act then I wouldn't be me, would I now, Hana-chan? Tsume smiles as she looks at her daughter, waiting for her to come up with a comeback. Sometimes she wonders why Hana doesn't act like her, but like she always say that her daughter is around Kurenai way too much. She likes Kurenai acts more like a lady, then Tsume thinks she should act least like a lady and more wild. That is true, but sometimes being crazy is a bad thing and you really understand that and know it for a fact. Tsume just shrugs her shoulders as she looks at Hana. You may have a point, but also may be right, but I don't think that being crazy is a bad thing, and I know Naruto doesn't think that way too. Naruto just smirks as he moves his hand on her, which she just smirks back to him, causing both Hana and Kiba to feel sick again as they have to watch this. Tsume-chan, I have to go for a little bit, but I'll be back later. He kisses her as she moves to look at him. He gives her one smile before walking out the door, but Tsume knows that Naruto was up to something. She was going to find out soon, but right now she had to talk to her kids. Naruto was now outside the village and in front of his clan house. It was still in ruins after the attack on it, but as he walks in he notices the bodies of his clan member were still in the halls and rooms. I can still tell who they are by small. Kyuubi told him as he brings the first body out, which looked like it was one of the women that had been raped. He starts to dig a grave for her, and once he gets done he makes a tombstone out of rock. He writes the name that Kyuubi gives him and moves it at the head of the grave. Naruto knows this was going to just be the first grave that he digs today for his clan members. He can't believe that they didn't even give them graves. He wonders how can this of a village be so damn heartless like this. Kyuubi just watches as she grows sad because not only does she have to see this, but Naruto has to do all the work. He has to dig the graves and wash away all the blood that was on the walls. It was years old blood, but you can still smell the death in the air of the clan house. Naruto goes back into the clan house as he starts to look around, but when he gets to a place that looks like his family bedroom, he sees a body with a sword through it as it was on the middle of the wall. Naruto takes the sword out of him as the body slowly falls to the ground. This was your two, Naruto. Kyuubi said in a sad tone of voice because he has to see his father like this. Naruto couldn't believe that this was his too, and he was staring at the dead body as he yells out. He does the same thing he did with the first body and digs a grave, then makes a tombstone for him. He starts to make clones so he can give his clan members graves faster, but he just leans against the wall as he holds his chest in pain. Why did this have to happen to his clan, and why did his clan have to go through this? He hated it and wishes that he could go back in time to fix everything before it happened. He just wants to yell out as he's holding his chest because this pain of seeing this is just too much for him to take. He goes back into the clan house, but he goes to the bathroom and sees if it's still working. When he gets inside, he looks for a rag or something so he can clean the walls. He finds one and goes to the sink. When he turns it on, he was shocked that he was still working. He wets the rag, but he goes back to the main dinner room and sees the walls were stained with blood, so he tries to clean them. He spends few hours digging the graves for all his clan members and cleaning up all the blood. With every grave he digs, with every blood spot he cleans, his heart becomes more filled with pain and sadness. He knows he has to be strong for his clan and can't give up on as he gets closer to fixing his clan house. When he goes outside and sees all the graves, tears start to come down his face as he just sits there and cries. He knows that they are died and he didn't think there would be someone alive here, but he didn't see this coming. He didn't think that it could be this bad, and he just makes a fist because of all the anger and sadness he's feeling right now. Naruto Koi, this is where you have been. He looks up to her, causing her heart to sink because she doesn't want Naruto to be this sad. It was her job now to keep him from being sad like this, so she sits down next to him. Tsume pulls his head to her chest and softly rubs his head, causing him to look at her. Yes, this is where all have been, digging graves for them and washing away all the blood that was still on the walls. She couldn't believe it herself that the village didn't give them a grave already. She looks down at him and wishes that he would have let her help him in this so he won't be alone when he needed someone the most. You should have let me help you, Naruto Koi. Something like this is when you need people to help you through it. Naruto kisses her lips, causing her to kiss him back. Both this kiss was filled with passion between two lovers. I'm sorry that I didn't let you help me, it's just that this isn't something I thought I was walking into was going to be like. He looks at the graves, but he moves Tsume on his lap and holds her close as his tears keep coming out of his tears. I keep asking myself, why did something like this happen? Why did it have to be my clan? Tsume didn't know how to talk to him right now because she never once in her life had to do or see something like this. I don't know what to say to that, Naru Koi, but I want you to know that there are people here that will always be here when you need our help. She kisses his cheek, trying to make him feel, if anything, a little bit better. I do need to say something, Tsume. Thank you for always being here when I need you. She looks at him with a smile on her face because she was always going to be here for him just like he's there for her. I'll always be here for you, and why don't we go home and come back tomorrow to fix it up more? He nods his head to her, letting her get up from his lap. She slowly helps Naruto up next, but once he was up, he looks at her with eyes that hurt how much he was hurting right now, but Tsume just rubs his cheeks. You really did pick a good mate, didn't you? They turn to where the voice was coming from, and when they see who it was, it's the same wolf that Naruto thinks of as a Ka. Ka, what are you doing here? She just looks at him, then moves to the graves, but she knows it has been hard on Naruto. This is the clan house, remember? We visit it from time to time, waiting for you to fix it up for us. The wolf moves over to the two of them as her eyes were on the two of them. You really are a good mate for Naruto-kun. I just hope he finds more good mates like you. Tsume's cheeks start to grow a little pink. Thank you for thinking that. Tsume sees the wolf leaving the area, but Naruto moves his arm around Tsume's waist, causing her to jump a little bit. She leans into his chest, which Naruto just moves his head on top of Tsume's head. Let's get going home because it's almost dinner time. The two of them walked without saying a word in order to honor the ones that finally get the graves that they should have had for a long time now. When the two of them get back to the house, Tsume walks in first, but Naruto was right behind her. When he gets inside, he notices that her ex was now inside with few of member of the council, but they are all non-shinobi members. What in hell are you doing back inside this house, Lucian? Tsume was now pissed that this asshole had the guts to come back here again. She does notices the other council members here and has an idea to why they are here. I'm here to tell you that I'm getting back my clan head rights and you will become my bitch again. Naruto moves in front of Tsume, who was hoping that he wasn't going to something that may get him hurt. No way in hell you can do that, and I'll see you assholes in the council meeting room because you have no rights in shinobi and shinobi clans. Naruto wasn't going to let this fools hurt Tsume or ruin what they have with each other. Very well, we will be seeing you in 2 hours and don't be late. Lucian said as he walks out with the rest of them. Tsume walks over to the couch, but she looks at Naruto before sitting down. Naruto didn't like how that asshole can hurt Tsume like much, and he was going make him pay for hurting his mate. Naruto walks over to her, but he moves his hand onto her shoulder. You're worried that he will get his rights back and force you to be with him again? She nods her head, causing Naruto to pull her into a hug. You don't need to worry because there's no way in hell I'm letting him do that. I'll always keep you safe, my little Inuheim. Thank you, Naruto Koi, really thank you so much for helping me right now. She holds him like her life was on the line right now. Naruto starts to rub her back, trying to calm her down the best he can. You never need to thank you, and you know that. Now what would you like to do before the meeting? He asked her as she just looks up at him before she starts to think about what they can do before the meeting. We could just go to our room and lay down. I'm only going to be yours, Naruto Koi, and no one else is going to have me. He smiles to her and helps her up from the couch. They both head to their room with smiles on the face because no matter what they are not going to lose each other. 2 hours later, both of them are at the council meeting, and Naruto was kind of wishing he could have slept with Tsume longer, but it was funny to see Hana being scared to walk in her car room. They didn't have sleep this time, but everyone though that did it, so it was kind of funny and helped their moods when they seen her act scared to walk in. Naruto looks around to see everyone from shinobi to non-shinobi council member here and wonders if the old man had something to do with this, so he would have help in this problem. He was somewhat thankful to the old man if it's true that he's helping the two of them in this, but he just hopes he can stay with Tsume. I here call this meeting about Lucian trying gain his clan rights back after leaving his clan and family. The old man said to everyone, but he looks over at Naruto and hopes he doesn't do anything too bad in this meeting. He knows that he had failed Naruto when he could have told him the truth but sealed his past away with his bloodline. He's truly hoping one day Naruto can forgive this village and him. Everyone else in the room had their own ideas on what should happen to this man trying to gain his clan rights back. Hokage-sama, why should this man be given the rights to be clan leader again when he left the clan because he was bored? Also, isn't a shinobi that leaves a village make him a missing shinobi? The Hokage looks at Naruto and smiles because it is true that if you leave the village without the Hokage letting you, then you do become a missing shinobi. That is true that a shinobi that leave this village without me allowing it does turn the said shinobi into a missing one. Lucian was now scared, and it was showing because he forget that he became a missing shinobi once he left. Naruto smirks because he can see how much Lucian is becoming scared by the second, and he knows there's no way he can win this fight. He wasn't going to let this asshole get away with something like that. There is no pride or honor in leaving your family like this asshole in front of him did. I was forced to leave because she told me if I stay or told anyone about this she would kill me. Naruto was now getting pissed that this asshole would lie in order to keep him from losing this. How someone could lie about something like that, but all this was causing Naruto to make a fist. That is the most bullshit you could come up with. Is that really all you can think of in order to win? To lie like that so you can win, or should I say what you told her when you come into her house? You didn't sound like someone that was the innocent one because you sounded like someone that was hurting an innocent woman. Naruto was about to kill him, but Tsume was holding his hand to keep him from doing something dumb. I also want to have this Gaki put in jail for attacking me without a reason. Naruto was walking over to him but was stopped by Tsume as her arms wrap around him. No reason. You had the guts to come into Tsume house and say she's your bitch. You should be the one behind bars missing shinobi. Everyone in the room could see how much Naruto was getting pissed that someone was trying to do this dirty trick on his love, but everyone was just the shinobis in the room. The ones still on the asshole side are non-shinobi members who always go against Naruto no matter what. He has all the rights to put charges against you. Pink flat-chest banshees yelled out at him, which he just looks at her. He never liked her because she wanted him die the minute he was born because of the Kyuubi, but he also hated her because she made Sakura hit him but also won't get into any clan hair pants. How much is he paying your side because you are non-shinobi and not a part of the shinobi side of this council, I wonder, because you again have no say in shinobi affairs. He was getting tired of telling these fools to stay out of shinobi affairs, but did they listen to him? Hell no. How could you dare try to say that we're being paid to help him? Who do you think you are? The same banshee howls at Naruto again, causing him to rub his ears. He can't believe how loud that she can howl. It wasn't human to be that loud. Man, how in the world can you yell so fucking loud? I didn't even know a human can be that loud as you. For people like me and Tsume with great hearing, can you please shut up? Naruto yelled back as he still keeps rubbing his ears, but this caused the banshee to become more pissed off. How dare you? You are nothing but a. She was cut off by a huge wave of ki, not from Naruto, who everyone though it was at first, but when they looked to see who it was, they couldn't believe that this much was coming from Tsume. You were going to call my Naruto Koi a demon. You are the ka to a daughter who wants to fuck someone who doesn't even want her. You train your own daughter to fuck clan hairs so you can get more power. The woman just looks at her, shocked that she had the guts to talk to her about her own daughter like that. How dare you talk to me about my own family? Who in the hell do you think you are? You are one to talk, you're the ka of that horny bitch. That was something she shouldn't have said, as a kunai comes right next to her neck and through the wall. The person that did that wasn't Tsume but Naruto, who right now was getting way too pissed off at this so-called council meeting. Tsume leans into Naruto as she holds him close to her, but he wraps his arms around her in a lovely way. Tsume gives the shocked and feared banshee a look before she begins to talk again. Never call my daughter that again, and as for a fact my daughter never once had, so don't talk lies about my family or you will be the one that pays for them. Tsume isn't someone to get this pissed off, but when someone insults or hurts her family, that's when you see the other side of Tsume. Everyone stop this at once. I will remember you again. This is a shinobi affair. You are only here to watch. The Hokage stated, trying to stop things before it gets worse and someone dies, mainly the banshee would die. Everyone shinobi member here who thinks that Tsume should lose her place as clan leader to him, raise your hand. No one raised their hand to that because no one thinks that an asshole that leaves his clan and village has the right to gain it back. Naruto notices something as he smells the air and looks at the asshole because he smells of snakes. Hokage-sama, I think we should have this asshole sent to Ibiki because I just notice he smells of snake just like your own student does. What are you talking about, Gaki? Lucian asked him as the Hokage was wondering if Naruto was telling the truth or making this up, because if he was telling the truth then they have a spy that the snake been using. How do we know you're not just saying that, Naruto? If it is truth then it means he's working for Orochimaru, causing us to have informant we can take from him. Naruto was looking at him, but he was hoping that he can tell them and hope they will believe him. If you don't believe me then get Kakashi to use his summon to prove what I say. The Hokage nods his head and calls an Anbu over to get Kakashi. When Kakashi finally gets in and does what the Hokage orders him to, he summons one of his dogs and he tells Kakashi that he does smell of snakes, and Kakashi was looking at the Hokage. He says that he does smell like snakes. How do you want to do this, Hokage? Wait please, will you wait a second? What if I told you things so you don't kill me? They all look at him and Hokage wasn't happy that a spy was in front of him, but if he truly does have something they don't know, then it could help. If whatever you have is something we already know, then you will be killed. Lucian was now happy because he did know something that only few people know about, but he just hopes the Hokage lives up on his end of the deal. The upcoming attack isn't just sound and sand but also Iwa. Only few people know about that. The reason I know is because I was one helping Iwa make plans of attack. There wasn't a sound in the meeting room after hearing that, because 3 villages against 1 isn't something they could handle. I guess we have to ask Kumo for help on this matter, don't you think so, Hokage-sama? Naruto asked him, causing the old man to let out a long breath because he didn't know what to do right now because this was turning bad for them. I guess we have to ask them for aid. Kakashi, could you find their leader for us and ask him to come here? Kakashi nods his head and leaves to find the Kumo leader and hopes that he agrees to help Konoha in their time of need. Before Kumo leader gets here, I really would like to ask why my clan bodies weren't given a proper rest. You left the bodies there letting them riot. Naruto yells as his eyes turn pain to anyone that tells him a bullshit lie to his face again. Danzo, it's about time you pay for your crimes, not only against this village but the death of the Ukami. We all know about the lies that you made up. The Hokage was now looking at the old man, but this said old man didn't look scared. What proud do you have beside this boy words? Hokage smirks because no one said anyone lived or told him anything. No one said that anyone lived that day, but it looks like you sold yourself out. Now Danzo was worried because he had failed for that old trip, but he had to come up with an idea, but only idea was to fight and let out his hidden ace. He looks over at Naruto, who he has to take down right now or trick him into helping him. What are you going to do to me for getting rid of a danger and help this village more than you know? Naruto looks at him with anger in his eyes and moves away from Tsume, causing her to worry. That's he going to do something like before. You only cause more deaths by doing that. You are one that made Kyuubi attack you village, so don't say you are so kind of hero. Naruto starts yelling at the time of his lungs, causing everyone who didn't find out yesterday to become shocked. What are you going to kill me? You don't have the power to beat me. He takes the bandage off his eyes, showing everyone he has a Sharingan. Everyone in the room didn't understand how he has it. You're my. Naruto smirks, and before he can do anything with his eye, Naruto goes into his fallen one bloodline form as he walks over to Danzo. Why isn't it working? You should be working for me now. In this form I can't see. I'm blind in this form, but he comes with good things as well. It's time for you to be killed, traitor, and I'm going show no mercy for you. He couldn't believe that he can't use his mind controlling on him, but he calls his 2 root Anbu and goes out the back door. You guys handle the root, I'm going after him. He runs, but Anbu get in his way but are quickly pushed away by Choji Dad, allowing Naruto to follow after Danzo. He didn't know why everyone was trying helping him so much, but he lets out a smile because there truly are good people in this village. Naruto was on his trail as he keeps running after him, but with his speed he knows he will get to him before anyone else will. This was the day he will get his revenge for his clan that was killed because of his lies. These lies that came out of that man's mouth that got his clan raped and killed. The roots of all his hate and anger forwards this village was because of this man whom he was going to love killing. Naruto didn't have this much hate for anyone else, but he knows he can't let his anger blind him in this fight. He must have a clear open when he fights Danzo. A wolf is the sign of wisdom, and to have wisdom you must not allow anger and hate to cloud your mind. Naruto knows he has to make his attack plans with a clear mind and not a mind filled with anger and revenge. Every step Naruto takes, he thinks about his clan members and how they died, but also his Ka and Tu and how he wants to honor them. He wishes he could have seen them and sees that they were proud of him, but he knows that he can't. Only thing he can do right now for them is to make their killed pay with his life. He finally gets to Danzo as he was standing on the Hokage faces, but Naruto slowly walks over to him, which he just looks at Naruto. He knows that Naruto can't beat him, so he wasn't too worried about fighting him. This is where you die, Danzo. There is no more talking your way out of things. You will die by my hands and no one else. Naruto gets in his battle form and Danzo just keeps looking at the four-armed werewolf with a smirk on his face. Naruto was now with Danzo, but he was pissed, but at the same time he had the chance to get revenge for his clan. He can finally kill the man that caused all this pain for him and his clan, but he knows that he can't just rush at him. This fool hasn't been alive for all these years just so he would die fast. Naruto knows he has to find out what kind of power he has to make the first move before it gives this fool any time to come up with a plan against him. Naruto rushes at Danzo as he reaches for his katana, but only one because he didn't know how to use both at one time yet. Danzo breathes in as he opens his mouth as wind comes to him. Naruto hears the cause in the wind with his ears, he jumps away, but once the wind hit the tree he can hear it being cut in half. Naruto now knows he's dealing with someone who can use wind to fight, but Naruto wasn't a fool. Since Naruto was blind in this form, but some would think of this as a bad side of a bloodline, they would be wrong because Naruto hearing was now so sharp even ever that he can hear someone far away. He can easily fight using only his other senses without his eyes in order to kill this asshole. Don't do anything too crazy, I don't want to lose you as well. You're my godson and no way I'm going let you die, do you hear me? Naruto nods his head showing her that he understands, but also if he ever needs a pair of eyes he knows Kyuubi would tell him what he needs to know. Naruto does hand signs as four shadow clones of him start to walk forwards Danzo. He then hears the ground move out from under the clones, killing them. He doesn't know what Danzo does, but Kyuubi does, as she was about to tell him when Danzo attack was coming at the same time. Jump now. He's using earth or maybe wood at you just like the first Hokage. How the hell does he have the Mukodan bloodline? Naruto now knows what he is dealing with because he learned about this bloodline in the shinobi school. He was shocked that something he learned from a book could really pay off right now. Naruto jumps to the right, barely dodge a sharp wood attack from Danzo, but now Naruto it's his turn to do the attacking. There was no way in hell he was going let this asshole get away with something like this. Naruto starts to do one of his clan moves as he yells out. Hanu Senpu, Flame Whirlwind. He does what looks to be same as Kiba attack as he starts to spin in the air coming towards Danzo, but unlike Kiba, Naruto spins as flames come around him. Danzo makes a shell-like shield out of wood in front of him hoping that it will stop Naruto from getting to him. He wasn't really trying because Danzo doesn't believe this genin can really give him a real fight. How wrong he was as Naruto breaks through the shell of wood causing Danzo to jump out of the way of the attack. Naruto was pissed that he missed because he has to fight in order to win this, but at the same time he has to keep dodging the incoming attacks aimed at him. He truly doesn't know if he can beat Danzo on his own because this old man may be old but he has fight in more battles than he has. Naruto wasn't going to give up not till he dies because right in front of him was the man that was solely the reason his clan was killed. They enough makes his blood boil, but he knows he has to keep a calm mind if he hopes to win against this man. All he knows right now is that Danzo has wind attacks and wood, but Naruto wasn't foolish to believe that all this old asshole has. One thing he didn't like was being toyed with, and he was going to end this once and for all. For his clan to finally rest in peace he has to kill the man in front of him, no matter what it will take he is willing to pay it. Naruto rushes at Danzo as he draws the sword on his back, which he was glad his turning into werewolf didn't break his slash holding his katana. He only knows how use one right now, so he wasn't going try using both katanas untrained like that. He tries to cut Danzo with a low attack aiming for his chest, but he feels the ground moving as he hits wood. Naruto was really getting tired of his attacks always stopped like this from the damn wood, but he knows he has to find a way around this. Naruto smells someone he knows as he turns around, but he hears that person is close by and it was Yugito. Once he feels her land next to him, he was great that he had some help now against this asshole. Naruto-kun, looks like you can use some help, but tell me what have you learned from him so far? Naruto quickly told her as they both dodge more incoming wood attacks mixed with wind ones. The two of them don't know that the real fight is just starting, but Naruto looks to her and nods his head because he was glad she was on his side right now. He didn't know how she fights, but he was hoping she was good at doing her job. Yugito starts doing a hand sign, then yells out, Nensho Hisaki, burning flames. Wave of flame shoots out from her mouth as Naruto starts to feel hot, but Kyuubi told him it was a flame jutsu she used. The jutsu missed Danzo, but it did come close to hitting him, which he wasn't to his liking, as he does a wind attack by sucking in more air then releasing it at Yugito. Yugito didn't have time to react because she just got done using a jutsu like that, but she feels Naruto pushes her to the ground to avoid the attack. Thank you, Naruto-kun. He nods his head and rushes at Danzo, giving Yugito some time to come up with some kind of battle plan. She was always great at making plans, but she knows it going be hard working with Naruto. It wasn't because she believes that he sucks at fighting, but the fact was they were from two different villages. She looks at Naruto, but she just tells herself that she wasn't going let him down when he needed her the most. Right this second he needed her help and she was going to give it to him. She tries to come up with a plan, but she knows her fire jutsus will help out a lot and maybe she should go all out if she has to. Naruto does another one of his Hanu Senpuu, but the same thing happened like the first time, causing Naruto really be pissed. Yugito moves so that she tries to set up a trap for Danzo, hoping Naruto will keep buying her time. Naruto didn't know what she was doing, but Kyuubi told him to buy her time. He just does another Hanu Senpuu, then another one, but he wonders if he should use his other move on him. He hasn't tried it in real battle yet, but he knows if he going to win he has to go all out against this asshole. He turns his two added arms back into wings, then goes up in the air. He truly doesn't know if this will work, but he knows he has to try. He moves his wings, which look he's going use them to attack with. Seigi Kukuugeki, Justice Air Strike. His wings sent mass waves of wind right to Danzo, who didn't know that Naruto was a wind user. Yugito was finally ready and she had to say the name really did fit Naruto's attack. She never thought his wings could be that strong. She starts to begin to think of Naruto as some kind of angel with that attack. Once she was done, she moved back, then made a hand sign as the kunais she put on the ground with tags start to blow up, catching Danzo, but once smoke cleared he was still alive without being hurt. That when Yugito sees something that creeps her out so much. On his left arm were tons of Uchiha eyes with their Sharingan all looking at her. After minutes she notices one of 10 eyes begins to bleed like the eye itself was destroyed. She didn't know if this asshole used them to stop the attack from hitting him or what, because he should have been died from that. She didn't like how this was going, but she sees Danzo behind, but once she turns around it was too late. She feels her body go numb as Danzo puts a seal on her. Naruto sees this and he sees Yugito, but Kyuubi told him she can't move at all and Danzo is about to attack her. Danzo sent a sharp wood attack at her as Naruto jumps in the way of it as it goes into his gut but grabs the wood and breaks it. Why tell me, Naruto? Why did you do this? Why did you jump in the way to save me? Naruto just looks back at her with a smirk on his face. Because I can't have someone get hurt in my fight, I'll not let you die, so that a promise of a lifetime. I'll keep you safe no matter what, and you can believe me on that. Naruto throws up blood as he tries to come up with a new plan, but he knows he has to think fast. It wasn't just his life on the line anymore, he had to think about Yugito and keep her safe no matter what. He wasn't going to let someone die when it comes to his own fight like this. If anyone was going to die, it was him or Danzo. No one else is allowed to die in this fight. Yugito didn't know what to think because she never had someone act like this for her. She never had someone take a hit that could cause so much pain like one he took in order to save her. She hated now having power to even move as she watches the two of them fight each other. Use my power and destroy him. Once you have done that, then claim him for us. I really want to try riding him all night alone. Yugito blushes as she hears what Nibi was telling her to do because she wasn't thinking about doing that with him. She swears she wishes she didn't have a perverted Neko inside her head like this. She couldn't say that she was thankful to Naruto and maybe even have a crushing growing, but there no way she would get naked for him or fuck him. She wasn't that easy to get in bed, and that one reason she never had. True, she did pleasure herself with things but never had with anyone. Naruto gets hit again hard, but he was still standing, but Yugito still couldn't believe she can't move and pissed her off so much. She hated seeing someone going through pain just to keep her safe like this. She begins to use Nibi chakra as she feels the binding on her body start to lift. She hopes she can transform in time to help Naruto, because she would truly feel sorrow if he dies before she can help him. She keeps watching as she builds up the chakra she needs to transform. Naruto doesn't understand why every time he gets a good hit on this dam he doesn't get hurt. Was he using some kind of jutsu to stop himself from being hurt? Was the person he fighting really him and not just some image causing him to think that it was the real one? No, it couldn't be, because he hears a heart inside that chest of his. He just keeps up his attacking, hoping that he'd been doing some kind of pain to him, but he keeps getting hurt more by the wooden air even though he dodging most of it. The ones that hit him are because he goes in front of Yugito to keep it from hitting her. Yugito on the other hand watches as few tears come down her eyes as he keeps getting hit in order to shield her. She slowly has enough chakra build up as her body begins to be covered in blue fire, but once her whole body was covered with it she become to transform into the two Neko demon form. Naruto-kun, I'm going help you now. Naruto was shocked she was free, but he was even more shocked once Kyuubi show him image of what she looked like right now. In his mind she looked like a beautiful cat. Beautiful. Yugito hears as both she and Nibi blush because they didn't think that this form was beautiful. Nibi now really wanted her jailer to just tie him down and ride him till he can't handle anymore. Yugito in Nibi form opens her mouth as she yells out. This was the two-tail monster cat fireball. Which a massive fireball comes out of her mouth to Danzo, which he was kind of shocked that she could transform like that, but he uses another one of his eyes to get away safe from the fire. Yugito notices after a minute later that another one of his eyes are bleeding. Now she knows what he was doing in order to dodge the attacks that may be deadly to his life. She moves to Naruto and whispers into his ear what was going on, but he glad she told him why in hell he couldn't hurt him. How many eyes does he have left? Yugito tells him 5 of his eyes on his arm that weren't bleeding. Naruto nods his head and slowly pets Yugito's head, causing her just look at him, but he smirks, then puts his force back on the task at hand, killing Danzo. Naruto just hopes he can't handle this fight. Right now with all hits and chakra he used, he doesn't know if he can last this fight. He looks over to where he knows Yugito is and knows he has to keep her safe even if she was in a giant cat form now. Naruto turns his wings back into his added arms again as he slowly uses his ears to find Danzo, then give a hand sign to tell her he was about to attack. He knows tons of villages has their own ways to show each other, but some hand signs were same with each village. Naruto rushes at the front, but Yugito moves faster than him as she gets behind Danzo, which causes the asshole to try to come up with a plan now. If he was just fighting against Naruto a genin he not have to worry, but now he got a Junin in demon form as well. He wasn't going lose to these fools because he notices his 2 of his helps close by, as he calls them with a seal. 2 Root Anbu get in front of Yugito as she hisses at them, but Naruto keeps on running to Danzo as the old man smirks to the foolish genin. Naruto created 6 shadow clones, but 3 of them are killed right away by wood attack. Yugito was having no trouble at all fighting against one of the Anbu, but the other one keep using water jutsus against her, causing to be a pain to get close to him. She sees a water dragon jutsu coming to her as she jumps in the air, but she looks over to Naruto to see how he was doing against that bandage freak. Naruto wasn't doing so good at this point as he slowly starts to tap into Kyuubi's chakra as he finally gets a hit on Danzo, but he goes right though to him as Danzo uses his 6th eye to keep himself from being killed. Danzo wasn't happy because he had to not only used 1 but 6 eyes now against these 2. He was really starting to get pissed off at this point. His anger was starting to make him hastily about what he should do or think on the matter at hand. His ego wasn't going let him be beaten by these 2 demons. Naruto does another fire spin at him, but he was stopped by a water jutsu as he was sent back into a tree as he can hear a rib crack. He slowly stands back up to only get hit back another wood attack as it slams him into a rock, causing his body to hurt even more. Yugito kills the one Anbu as she goes over to help Naruto, but she can't believe he's still moving after all this pain. She knows he can heal, but still this was too much for someone to handle at his age. Naruto wasn't going to stop till he either killed this asshole or died fighting like a true warrior. He wasn't going to hide or run, and hell with letting someone do this for him. If he going to die, then he dies with his pride and honor as an Ukami clan member. This pain was laughable because he was put through more than this on a daily thing he got from the villagers. He wasn't going to let few hurt bones and cracked ones to stop him from fighting or let it get in the way of his battle. Naruto spits blood out as he moves closer to Danzo as he taps into more of Kyuubi's power as one tail starts to grow. Yugito was worried about him, but she didn't know why. It just her chest was hurting as she sees him in this much pain and he won't stop fighting. She goes after the last Anbu, who just keeps giving her a hard time with his damn water jutsus. The Anbu keeps on unleashing jutsu of water one after the other, but he was slowly running out of both stamina and chakra. Yugito knows all she has to be by some time before he is totally out of chakra, but he just hopes Naruto can't hold out that long. She was shocked that he can still go at it like this long. She also is getting tired because being in this form take a lot to keep it going, so she has to fight fast as she finally gets a hit on the root Anbu, but it wasn't deep enough to kill him, but her claws did give him a good cut as the Anbu moans in pain. Naruto sent waves of demonic attacks with his hands as it was trying to kill Danzo the fastest as he can. He can still see 2 eyes left, but he knows that he has to end this fast before he truly runs out of what little he has left in him. Yugito finally kill the damn Anbu, but once she turns around she worried that Naruto may not have lived as she rushes to where he was. She sees that he's still fighting, but her heart hurts because the shape that he was in was far from being good. She also notices that Danzo only has 2 eyes left as she rushes him from the back, shooting a giant fireball from outmouth at him as Danzo uses another eye to avoid it, but now he was down to 1 eye left. He had to find a way to deal with these damn people before he ends up dying for real. Naruto notices he was about to attack Yugito as Danzo does hand signs. They notice massive attacks of wood were going at it. She tried to use fire, but she only burned most of them as there was still few coming at her still. Naruto jumps in the way again as he gets hit and feels it rip into his back from 2 spots, but he then just cuts the wood as he stabs Danzo, but Danzo uses his last eye to stay alive. Yugito, when I do this next attack I need you to do your attack as well. Naruto 2 arms because wings once more as he takes to the sky with his chest and leg bleeding badly. Seigi Kukuugeki. He summons mass waves again as Yugito understand what he was planning on doing as she uses her fireball attack, lighting the wind attack on fire as it was going right to Danzo. Danzo had no time to dodge it as he was being burned alive with such high heat levels from that attack as his burns even start to melt from the heat that was coming off the attack. He couldn't believe he lost to a genin and a Kumo bitch as his body becomes nothing more like ash. Naruto turns back into normal self as he falls to the ground, but Yugito catches him then lies him down on the ground. She didn't know if he was going to make it or not, but he sees the Hokage and Raikage rushing to her side, but once they get there they ask what happened. She told them all that happened as they take Naruto to the hospital and they were shocked about what they found out. First thing that shocked them was Danzo having 10 eyes in his arm like that, but also having the wood bloodline that only the first Hokage had. They look down at Naruto and see medic shinobi working on him as the Hokage, and Raikage couldn't believe someone like this could have done so much. Raikage was forever grateful to him for saving Yugito in the battle all the times that he did. She was like a daughter to her and he was glad she was still alive after that fight against Danzo. He knows now that he's doing the right thing with his plan he has been talking about lately with Hokage and giving hints to Naruto. He looks over to see Yugito staring at Naruto as him and the Hokage leave the room, but Yugito stays even after the medic shinobis leave as well. She didn't know what to think or say because he had saved her not just once but few times in one single battle like that. He used his own body to shield her like that and she didn't know what to do right now. Yugito notices someone opening the door which she has been here for 2 hours now but she looks to see who the newcomer was. It was Tsume who looked sad but walked over to the bed. She didn't want to see her Naruto like this but she was glad he finally got the justice he wanted for his clan. Hello Tsume-san. Tsume looks over at Yugito as she gives a sad smile but she looks at Naruto. The medics told her that he's going to be fine but still makes her sad that he got hurt. She didn't want him to be hurt like this but she knows that was the life of a shinobi. I'm sorry, this is my fault. Tsume was told what happened and she knows it wasn't Yugito's fault. Naruto will always be the person that saves others. He was the kind of person that helps others just like an angel from heaven but Tsume does wish he wouldn't be so reckless at times. I have already been told by the Hokage-sama what happened and Yugito-chan this isn't your fault. Naruto did it so you wouldn't have be the one on this bed with people looking at you sleep. Yugito moves her black eyes back to Naruto's body because she's truly thankful to him for saving her. The door opens again as Samui walks in because she wanted to check up on the two foolish blondes. She looks at the two people in the room then at Naruto. When she first found out what happened she couldn't believe it. She didn't think someone from other village would use himself as a shield like that in order to help Yugito. Samui found it so cool what Naruto did for the person that was like a sister to her. She also thinks he was reckless to do things like that but just like Reikage feels she's grateful that he did it. Without him doing that then Yugito would have been killed and that's something she can't live with. She wouldn't know what she would do if she found out that Yugito had been killed. The three of them sit down around the bed and wait for him to finally wake up which happens about 5 hours later. Naruto slowly opens his eyes as he sees the three of them but he tries to get up but pain was still there as he can barely even move. Don't push yourself, that's not cool at all. He smiles to Samui as he looks to Yugito who he was glad she wasn't hurt at all from the fight. It's good that you're not hurt Yugito-chan. Yugito just blushes as Tsume kisses Naruto on the lips but she looks at him once she was done. You had us all worried about you, don't you dare do that again. All three women nod their heads causing him to laugh but he then realizes laughing hurts too much. Naruto was happy that he finally got that asshole, he finally ravaged his clan and now they can finally rest in peace. He was glad that he got justice for his clan even if it took so many years to do it. He couldn't have done it without Yugito's help and for that he was thankful. Yugito-chan thanks to you, if you weren't there to help me I couldn't have gotten my justice for my clan. Yugito didn't know why he was thanking her, she was the one that had to thank him not the otherwise around. She didn't do that much help in the fight but he still was thanking her it made no sense to her at all. You shouldn't be thanking me, I'm the one that has to thank you for saving my life all these times in the fight. Naruto shakes his head no as he looks at her because she didn't have to thank him at all, he was glad to save her no matter what he had to do. I'm glad I could save you, I would have done it over in a heartbeat. Tsume smirks because he had a way into women's hearts without even realizing it as she looks at Yugito's blushing face. He truly was dense when it came to women and that was something that Tsume loves about him as she thinks it's cute. You three came to visit me. They nod their head. Thank you for doing that, I'm really thankful then. Samui and Yugito look away with blush on their faces but Tsume just smirks then looks at him. You have rest now, we will come see you tomorrow. Naruto nods his head weakly as he watches them leave the room. Naruto closes his weak eyes as he lets sleep once again claim him but before it does he wonders if he will even become stronger than he is right now. Naruto didn't know that Kyuubi was listening to everything that was going on as she just hopes that Naruto will become as strong as he has to be soon. Kyuubi knows Naruto can't handle all of her powers because it wasn't normal for a human to, maybe he can learn from Yugito in order to control the powers better. She just hopes because she doesn't want to kill him because of the powers inside of her. When Naruto wakes up the next day he sees everyone around him. He didn't know how they all got inside without him noticing. He sees the Raikage walking up to her as he looks at the little kid in front of him. Thank you for saving the person that's like a daughter to me. Naruto shakes his head because he doesn't know why he is being thanked so much. You don't need to thank me, I'm just happy I could have helped her. Just shakes his head because he didn't know that someone like Naruto was still alive in this world, someone whose heart is filled with kindness. That was something that was rare to see in this world of shinobis because every one day could be your last if you showed that kind of kindness to people. I guess I should tell you the plan I told you about before at dinner. I'm going have Team Samui with Yugito stay in this village to work with Konoha to strong our alliance. I would like you to watch over them when they are inside the village. Naruto looks at Samui who was hidden hoping he will agree with this. I'll be happy to. Samui just wanted yell out because she was happy about this but she didn't want sound like a crazy person, there was too many of them in this world as it was. She doesn't know why she happy that he agreed or that she wanted him to. All she knows is that her heart is beating faster thinking about it. Naruto gets up but he was still weak as hell but once he make few steps away from the bed he starts to fall but gets caught by someone he hasn't seen her. She has green eyes that were so just beautiful, her hair was a light grayish pulled back into a bun with two bangs that fall one on each side of her face. Thank you but who are you? Mabui just smiles to him because she was sick yesterday and that was reason he didn't see her or the time at dinner. She looks at him but Naruto checks her out without anyone realize. She looks great and she had a middle-sized chest which he looks back to her eyes because they were the thing that got him really into her. My name is Mabui and it's nice to meet you Naruto-kun. She spoke with calmness but her green eyes just start to force on him. She wonders what kind of person he was but from all stories she'd been hearing about him, he was a strong and kind soul. It's nice to meet you to Mabui-chan, what going happen at the finales? Hokage looked at him then at Raikage who nods his head because he needs to know what going to happen. It's good for you to know what going to happen, I have called in some of Kumo forces to come and hide around the village on the day of the attack. Naruto was shocked that Kumo was willing to help that much for this village but he wonders why he was doing all this. It wasn't normal for a village that wasn't an ally to become an ally this fast but also aid as well. Can I ask, how come you willing to help us this much? Just smirks because he was right about this kid, only a fool wouldn't ask why when it comes to something like this. He sits down on a chair that was next to the bed before looking up at him but smirks bigger. He never seen Mabui hold anyone like that but he just figures she's thankful to him. Because you have showed me that there are some people in this village that Kumo could find trustworthy. We make ally and you had a good part in making this possible. Naruto smiles because he was glad he could help but he slowly heads for the door. Where are you going and why are you so weak? Naruto looks back at Tsume because he doesn't want to lie to her anymore. It pains him knowing that he has been hiding this whole time from her but now he knows he has to tell her. Remember when I said I couldn't die of age? She nods her head to him but wonder what he means by this. Yeah you can't because you have Kyuubi inside of you. He shakes his head no but other two jailers were wondering what was up, how could he live forever? The fourth Hokage didn't do the sealing right, he didn't because he seal her inside of my body but my soul. More I use her power more I become a demon and lose my human side. Everyone was now shocked but Yugito was now looking down sad. I'm sorry for making you use it. Naruto just shakes his head. You don't need to be sorry because I'm glad I saved you. If I have become a demon in order to keep the ones that I care about safe so be it, I don't have any regrets then. Everyone in the room was moved by that because they didn't think that was what he was going to say. In their eyes he